welcome back to another Beard Invades. This week, I've got none other than Billy Burt. How you doing, Billy? I've been trying to get you on for a while.
I'm good, mate. I'm really, really good. I'm getting better every day.
Oh, yeah? How's your wrist?
It's good. This one, I don't have to have a brace on anymore.
Yeah.
This one still, but, you know.
Okay. Well,
like I said, getting better every day.
Brilliant. Excellent. Okay, so you know how this all works, don't you? You've seen these before. Hopefully you've seen these before.
Yes, I've seen them.
So, we briefly touched on this a minute ago. I'd like to add something to my invasions. Unfortunately, you're the guinea pig for this one, but it can only do you good. Okay. Right then. So what you should be seeing on the screen is Billy's YouTube page, Billy Burt, the Messy Studio. Billy's got 2,420 odd subscribers, which is great. It doesn't show me how many videos you've got here, Billy, but there's quite a few.
I've got over 170.
Ooh, that's a lot. But as you can see, guys, on the screen, hopefully you can see what I'm seeing. There's a lot to look at. Wood turning galore. So if you haven't been over or you don't know Billy, head over, check him out. This is what you'll find when you head over to his channel. Okay, so you've heard all these questions before, so tell us a little bit about yourself briefly, Billy, please.
I was born at a very young age. Is that too far back? I spent 30 years as an educator, and nearly 20 of that in the classroom. And then I migrated from there to computer-based and then web-based instruction. That's what I did for a living. When I was doing the computer-based and web-based stuff, I was writing, producing, directing, and editing educational videos. So this just seemed like a natural fit for me to fall into once I retired back at the end of 2017.
Yeah.
Started turning. Well, first got my taste of turning back in high school. Didn't much care for it a lot, but when my youngest son was in the 7th grade, he brought home a pen for his mother and I. We each had one. I still have mine. She lost hers. And I thought, that would be neat. I want to get into that. So in 2003, I started turning pens. And it snowballed and has come to where I am now. That's the short version.
Some of your stuff is so nice. It's lovely.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so why YouTube? I know you've got a history of editing and all that sort of thing, but what made you upload that very first video to YouTube?
Well, it was the second. The first one was just kind of a fluke. I was cutting a bowl with resin in it, and I wanted to just throw out on YouTube that you can get really nice shavings off of a piece of resin if you do it right. It was a quick 2-minute thing. But what caused me to do my first video was for basically 2 reasons. Like I said, I was retiring, and I figured this would be a good, part-time thing for me to just share what little knowledge and experience I have with other turners, new turners especially, and just to try to help the turning community out as any way I could. The second reason was so that my grandkids and their kids would have some kind of a record. This was your granddaddy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's really good. Okay, right. So should we have a little tour of your shop or wherever you're going to take us? I don't know.
Sure. We'll start back here. This is the back corner. This is my 17-inch floor model drill press and cabinet where I keep all my drill bits and whatnot. Of course, the circuit breaker for the whole shop is back there. Come along this way to my grinding station, where I've got my set up so I can grind my bowl gouges and my skews. Some odds and ends, sandpapers, my sanding discs. This is the big boy. This is the one that I bought in 2005. And after I went through like 4 lathes.
Cool.
Had I bought this one straight away, I would have not needed the other 3 that I started on. My wife bought me, she knew I wanted to turn pins, so she bought me a cheap Harbor Freight lathe for like $65. It was on sale for my birthday. And I turned on it for 3 months, couldn't find any attachments to fit the spindle. So I sold it for the same thing she paid for it. Right. It was cheap, flimsy, square tube, steel bedways you could literally watch them bow when you tighten down the tailstock.
Oh, God.
It was just nuts. So anyway, I went through a couple of different iterations of lathes after the Harbor Freight. The second lathe I bought was this Delta MIDI. And after I burnt the motor out in it, I added a DC motor with variable speed. It's up here. I've also added the bed extension to it. I've had this lathe since 2003, and I bought it used, and I wouldn't sell it or give it away, much less anything else. I love it. It's a good little lathe. It does everything I want to do. This is the new boy. This is the Powermatic 2014, 14-inch swing.
Cool.
I love it. This thing moves around. I need to add one of these to my big lathe because that's really, really handy. I mean, it's just really, really handy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I added a tool rack down here below. And one of the cool things about having the tool rack here is it doesn't get in my way. I can get right up to the lathe and it's not in the way. And more importantly, for safety purposes, I'm not reaching over to a wall to grab tools. I'm not reaching over a spinning object or a spindle or a bowl blank to grab a tool. I've seen a lot of people have their tools up on the wall behind the lathe, and that's a tricky thing.
That's a really good idea.
And another thing, since it's in such proximity, it's literally right here. I can reach over and grab a tool when I'm standing at the big lathe.
Yeah.
So that's the lathe area of the shop. This cabinet here is full of, behind the fan, is full of largely turning blanks, and my vacuum system is in there. Some other various storage. This rack is going to be moved into the back corner of the shop in the upcoming weeks or months when I make room for it. I'll show you what's there now. My 14-inch bandsaw with a 6-inch riser block on it. This is a Harbor Freight tool, one of the good ones. They don't make them exactly like this anymore. This is a Delta clone. In fact, the blade guides on it I got from Carter. They cost half as much as the lathe did the bandsaw did when I bought it new. And yeah, really, just for the guides. I got this on sale for like $199. I put $105 guide set on it, roller guides, and $50 for the riser block. And I wouldn't take $800 for that saw. It's a great saw.
People don't realize how important those guides are.
Say again?
I say people don't realize how important those guides are. I mean, that's...
Oh, they really are. It had the regular, squeeze blocks that you put in it. I thought about putting cool blocks in it, but I'm glad I went with the Carter, so I've never looked back. Some of my better bowl blanks are over here. I've got this oak burl here, this oak burl, some Texas ebony back there. These are all mesquite. I've got a big piece of Weisach in here somewhere. My 20-gallon compressor. This cabinet is my sticker cabinet. It's also where I keep my router bits. And I keep my router bits in this cabinet because it's not very far from there to my router table that's on the end of my table saw, and it's buried under crap. This is the messy studio after all.
Well, yeah.
Flat surfaces in my shop, horizontal surfaces, have a tendency to collect.
Oh, yeah.
Whether I want them to or not. It's almost like it happens by itself. I started on this tool wall. Some of you have seen my Instagram videos of that. I'm not nearly finished with it. I'm going to be moving all my clamp racks and everything on over to it as well. And I've still got some other things to hang up there. But I needed a tool wall so that I could get as much of the stuff off of my horizontal surfaces as I could.
Yeah, I know how you feel there.
And my table saw is under here under this workbench. My big table saw. It's a Delta contractor saw. You can see the plumbing running throughout the shop. That's for my dust collector. Every machine has drops, even back here for my bandsaw, though, even though it's not plumbed yet. I've got drops to all my equipment. And the reason that I wanted to do that is because I have asthmatic issues, and the more crap I can keep out of my lungs, the better.
Yeah.
I've got this air cleaner here that does a fine job. And I'm adding another one that's even bigger. It's on wheels. I've got to build the filter kit for it. This is it. And it will roll around and put out a lot more cubic feet per minute. I'm going to stick it right under here. This is my new workbench that I built last summer or last fall. Got a nice tail vise on it.
Oh, yeah.
This is my small table saw. This was my first ever table saw, and I just can't bring myself to get rid of it, even though it's probably worth $75. But you know, it is what it is. This is my corner. This is my metalworking corner. But right now, my metalworking corner, there's my metal chop saw right there.
Right.
You can see it.
Yeah.
Is my welding table. My welder is there underneath the end of the workbench on a cart.
Oh, yeah.
I can tack, but I can't weld. I'm really not very good. Everything else behind the portable welding table back there in the corner is eventually going to come out, because those are all the parts and pieces to my trike project. I was building a motor trike before I got hurt. So, and now I can't. So I'm going to have to try to sell it.
No, right.
Okay. I've got all the parts I need for it. I just don't have the ability to be able to finish it.
Yeah.
This is the newest addition to my shop. This is my Radial Arm Saw. I just picked it up Saturday.
Oh, I saw this on Instagram, I think. Was it Instagram or Facebook?
Both.
Both. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, this is my new 10-inch Radial Arm Saw. He took his granddad had a fence on it. He got it from his grandfather and just didn't have the need for it. So he sold it to me. He's a friend of mine.
And you got the bench and everything with it, didn't you?
Yeah, I got the cabinet that it's on. Yeah. My 12.5-inch Delta planer, it replaced my 12-inch Delta planer that burned up the year before last. Literally went up in flames.
Oh, God.
My 10-inch thickness sander is right there. And I'm going to be upgrading that to a 2244 very soon. Because it's just not big enough for the segmented bowls that I like to do. And the vases, I'd like to get them, if I want to do a big 14 or 16 or 18-inch salad bowl, I can't run it through there. It's just not wide enough. You have to flip it. And my oscillating spindle / belt sander, I use that all the time. I have a cart. This sanding cart here has all my sanding supplies and my handheld sanders, my belt sander. This cart is supposed to be my resin cart. Right now, my laptop is sitting on it. I've got a little bit of resin on it, but most of it's just other places. This is my original workbench. Again, flat surface. It's cluttered, but I've been working here.
Yeah.
I did a router carved. This is the router that I used on my new logo wood sign that I put up in the shop. My new Dremel with a flex shaft. My wood rack back here. This is all a lot of this is reclaimed, the stuff on the top shelf. Anyway, all kinds of stuff. This is most of the stuff on the top two shelves are this right here. This is Pecky cypress. All these holes and voids in it. Every bit of that came out of a den in a house in Ohio. He was throwing it away, and he said, "Come get it, or it's going to the dump." So I went and collected about 500 board feet of it, and threw it in the back of my pickup, and I never looked back.
Yeah, definitely.
Some rough cut walnut right up here on top. I've got a couple of pieces of cherry in here as well, rough cut. A friend of mine cut a cherry tree down when I was living in Ohio. I got it too. Part of it. I didn't get all of it. You saw the clamp rack a while ago. Now this over here, this is all pin stuff. All of those bins contain pin kits.
Cool.
And they're nearly full. This box here is full of router stuff for carving. This is my transfer punch set so I can take pins apart. Both of these are full of pin kits. That box is full of pin kits. That box is full of pin kits. And those bins are full of pin kits.
Cool.
I've turned a few pins. I turned pins. I turned so many pins so often. Well, I was production turning pins for a while. Okay, so this is the other end of the other corner of the shop, opposing to where we started. My drill press is back there. Remember where we started?
Yeah.
So the shop, it's not tiny, but it's not huge. It's 812 square feet.
Still a nice size.
It is. It's nice. Remember, with the exception of this workbench, this table saw, and this radial arm saw, every bit of this equipment, well, and except my new lathe, I had a Nova Comet 2 in place of that one. All of this equipment was crammed into 220 square feet of a 2-car garage, and I was working in it.
Yeah.
Which is why the messy studio came about.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Because try as I might, I couldn't keep things organized. So anyway, I've started organizing this end of the shop, and I'm slowly migrating this way. And I say slowly because I get into building something and I don't want to stop.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So up these stairs is an additional 200 square feet. This is storage. This is my light box where I do my stills. And I've got a bunch of oak blanks sitting over there. More oak there. All my leather tools are over here. I reload everything I shoot, and all my reloading stuff is over here as well. Back into here is more storage. That was along the left wall as we came in before. And my granddaughter and I moved these shelves, all three of them, and this bookcase into here. And so now all of my cased tools, these are largely pneumatics, nailers, air ratchet, die grinders, etc. My toaster oven stays in here. I take it out when I need to use it when I'm casting blanks or molds, just HDPE bowls and stuff. Some wood bits. My Craig stuff is in here for my pocket holes. That's my big router. Well, the big router's in the table. That's my other big router. Shop towels, turning blanks, powder coat material for when I powder coat. That's my powder coat gun. I use that for powder coating shell casings when I make pins out of spent ammo. My gloves, my paint guns, all kinds of stuff up here. Just everything that I wanted out of the shop. These are Italian acrylics that they're actually made for pipe stems, but they make beautiful pins.
All right. Make a
And
great
my dust collector.
resin room, wouldn't it? That.
Yeah. This is my beast that keeps all the dust out of my lungs.
Yeah.
It was a 2 horsepower Harbor Freight dust collector that I tore apart, added an Oneida Dust Deputy 2. I mounted the motor and impeller on the wall that exits out the door. I mean, it's a door on this side. It's solid wall on the other. The door doesn't exist.
Oh, right. Yeah.
It's funny because this shop was the garage to one of the 2 houses that got moved in and put together.
Right.
So I've got it's ducted right to the wall and blows the fine stuff outside through a stainless steel flapper. And everything else, the Cyclone picks up only the finest stuff gets outside. Yeah. The Cyclone catches everything else. I have to empty this about once every 2 weeks, even though that's a 30-gallon bucket. And this was the base to the collector unit, and I use it to hold the bucket up. And I put a winch on it. That's a boat winch. And I put a winch on it and turned some pulleys and used some PVC, and the winch line goes over the top, and then I can raise and lower the bucket so that I'm not having to deal with that. Then I just pick the bucket up and take it out.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
It's a nice space.
Thank you. I'm kind of proud of this one.
Oh yeah.
Is the flare off of it?
Oh right, Norm, yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah.
I did see that when you was panning around a minute ago. I was thinking, is that his dad or
No,
yeah.
that's Norm. That's Norm Abram.
Yeah.
I met him in 1996. He's a great guy.
Brilliant. Yeah, I used to love watching Norm. Yeah. Right then. Well, thanks for that.
My pleasure.
Yeah, it's a lovely space. I mean, there's going to be a lot of jealous viewers out there watching this.
Probably.
Yeah, but I can relate to you when you say that a flat surface ends up as a dumping ground because I'm terrible like that. Anything that's flat, I put things down on it.
Yeah,
and I'll go in there with the greatest intentions of cleaning, and end up, I mean, not cleaning, I mean tidying, and I'll end up getting involved in something in there, and then one thing then leads to another, and I'm making something else, and I've totally forgot about tidying. So, anyway, thanks for taking us.
I try to make sure that I put all my tools up when I finish using them. Like you'll notice, there's, with the exception of one tape measure, everything on the tool wall is there because I put it up when I use it.
Right,
and it just helps.
Oh yeah. It's hard to get into that routine for me, but still. Right then. So got a few more questions for you.
Okay.
Projects. So, I mean, actually, Maker Central, are you planning on coming over next year or whenever it's going to be for Maker Central?
I don't know. We were going to try to make it this year.
Yeah.
But, we decided, well, maybe not. And then the COVID thing. So that pretty much, I'm glad I changed my mind and didn't make the plans that I had made.
Yeah.
But I don't know yet. I just don't. I would love to come over and meet all you guys. I really would.
Yeah. Yeah, we'd love to. We'd love to have you over here. Right then. So, what projects are you working on at the moment? I know you've got. Well, at this time as we're recording this, you've got a premiere coming out tonight. So the guys will have already seen that by the time this comes out. The Donut Challenge.
Yes.
I could notice that set for 9:30 tonight. So it'll already be up by the time you see this, guys, on Thursday.
Right.
So if not, go over there, check it out.
I have. So what I've got on the lathe right now is this 10-inch ash juniper bowl. This is going to be, I'm making this as a salad bowl for the lady that gave me the tree. She gave me an 11-foot ash juniper tree. She used to work with my wife, and she called her and she said, I've got this tree that I need Billy to come get if he wants it. So I went and picked it up, and I'm making her a salad bowl out of it. This is part of it down here.
And you've recorded this then, I take it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. No, there we are.
So that's what I've got going on currently.
Right, okay.
I just finished the donut, and I've got this that will be up next week, I hope.
Yeah. I'll look out for that. Okay, so worst and favorite tool.
Worst
and favorite.
Worst and favorite tool. My worst and least favorite tool I sold a few months ago, as you know. That was that Nova Comet 2.
Yeah.
Drove me crazy. My favorite tool. Well, it's got to be my big boy. It's got to be my 3520B, my Powermatic. I love the 2014 as well, but me and this 3520B have been together for 15 years.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. You kind of get a connection with that time.
Yeah.
Okay, so where are you hoping for your YouTube channel to go? I mean, where do you hope to be in 12 months' time with it?
Oh my. That's the $64,000 question, Rich. I just hope I'm still doing it. I honestly never expected to see 1,000 subscribers, to be honest, and to become monetized. I mean, granted, I'm really knocking down the big bucks with this stuff. Let me tell you, I'm making so much money. YouTube has to send me a check every 3 months. So, I don't know. It's already exceeded my expectations. Anything from here is just gravy. Yeah,
that's good. Right, do you have a shout out for me? One or two, doesn't matter how many you want.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this.
Okay.
A couple.
Okay.
Hardwood Heaven Studios. I mean, Hardwood Heaven. Is it Hardwood Heaven Studios or Turning? Steve at Hardwood Heaven. He does he does a lot of gardening and whatnot videos too, but he does a number of turning videos, and he's a pretty good turner. So check him out, Hardwood Heaven. Kev at Torbay Timber Wood Twirler. I believe that's what it is. He's from the UK. He turns some really pretty stuff too. And these two guys, one of Steve at Hardwood Heaven recently started his channel, and he could use some love. Kev has been on for several years now, and he doesn't have a lot of followers. He really could stand some love. He's far too talented a turner for him not to be doing any better than he is.
Okay, cool. Well, if you send me the links to those guys, I'll put them in the description.
Okay.
So, guys, in description, go down there, give them some support. That'd be great. Okay, you've survived a invasion. You've come out unscathed, so that's good. But I must say, I'd love to see you in the lives and things like that. And obviously, when we hang out in our, with the other guys like Doug and Kit, it's a real pleasure. So thanks for that.
I enjoy it.
And thanks to you for doing what you do and coming on and being a guest on my little show. And
my pleasure, Rich. I appreciate it.
Brilliant. Thanks very much. And guys, if you don't know who Billy is, which is highly unlikely, head down there, click on his link, subscribe to his channel, head over and subscribe to his shout outs as well. Give them all some of your support.
Yes. Right here.
What's that?
the Messy Studio.
Oh yeah, cool. Right. Thanks guys. Speak to you soon.